Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 10th anniversary of the Leibowitz Entrepreneur Program. So thank you very much. I'd like to introduce you to a couple of our dignitaries that we have here today. I think you met Andrew Sillin, the Vice President of Brooklyn College. Let's give it up for Andy. My co-founder in the program, Hervé Cano, Chairman of the Business Department at the Koppelman School. And then we have Fern Beth Levine from the Foundation. And we have Courtney from the Foundation. And then we have my wife, Sarah, who you've met all during the semester. Okay. And my son, Brandon's here today as well. So it's hard to believe that 16 weeks went this fast. I mean, just as it was starting to get really exciting and really interesting, I have to let you out on your own, which is going to be quite dangerous, I think, in some of your situations. And I'm looking forward to see where you're all going to be in a few years from now. And what an amazing class this was. We had students from all over the world that I interviewed and wrote essays and that got accepted into this program. And I think it's a very important component to have this diversification so that everybody can work as a teammate, work together, all for a common good. If only the bureaucrats and the politicians could learn a lesson from this class, I'm sure that this world would be a much more successful and happier place to live. I hope I lived up to your expectations and the one that I told you 16 weeks ago, that at this graduation day, you'd be ready to go into your own business. And I'm happy to say I believe that every one of you are now ready to embark on your own career. This class was all about learning. It's a little bit different than any of your other classes, as you know, because this is a class and a program where you learn the theory, and then maybe more importantly, you go out and do things. You go out, we did our buying trip, we spent 2 days selling on the campus of Brooklyn College. You get to learn a lot, and it's a little bit a mixture of both the typical theory that you get in a lot of your other classes and a little bit of the vocational training that other schools may give you if you want to be an auto mechanic or other things. There's a way to do that. And I applaud you all because you're real pioneers in education. I believe that education is going that way, and that these classes and the class I've taught for the last 10 years of both theory and then practical learning is going to be one that's going to be here for the future. And I think that in many generations to come, you're going to see a lot more of this theory and practice kind of thing. Okay, so this class was all about learning and what we were doing and trying to spot trends and figuring out what was happening. And lo and behold, as we learned, every year there's a new trend. And I'd like to just have our friend Saif stand up and give him a big round of applause. Because not only did Saif do some really interesting things that never happened in this program before, like entering his teammates into a business plan competition with a $100,000 prize that was first given to me by Professor Cano, and the students here took up on it, and I actually never saw anything like that before. 2 weeks to enter into a competition, and while you didn't win, you came pretty close, and I'm very proud of you for doing that. And then Saif was able to detect the hottest item in America today, which we all know what that is, right? I kept one for myself. So this fidget turns out to be a $100 million a year product right now, and there's a great history and a great story. And the takeaway lesson from this product is that the woman who had the patent on this let the patent expire, and then somebody came in and made hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. But Saif did his own thing. He was able to spot a trend, jump on it, buy the product wholesale, take it to the campus, sell it, and make the money. Okay, so there's one thing dreaming and thinking about how to do business, and another thing of practicing the theory that you learned. So a great job on that, Saif. Thanks a lot for all your help. When I started this program 10 years ago as a way to give back to the college, I never realized how this second career could actually change my life. So just as rewarding as it may be for you, it's doubly as rewarding for me. And reading your final papers last night, it was very, very clear that what my intentions were for you to get out of this program were clearly met. The excitement that we would bring to the class and that the speakers would bring to the class are real life experiences. You can't make this up. This is no textbook. This is in real time and this is in real life. So as we all saw, business is not the hardest thing in the world. There's many more hard things than opening up a business. And whether you're selling fidgets or you're selling computers or you're selling cars, you had the same fundamental skill sets, things that you're not going to normally get in a normal class. Selling, buying, going on field trips, working with teammates for a profit is something that I think is your takeaway, and I'm hoping that as you proceed in your careers that you're able to multiply these efforts and that one day we're going to see you on the cover of Business Week magazine. So I wish that for all of you. Okay, so I'd like to start the program by calling up the students. We have a lot of students in here today, okay? So we want to limit these speeches to 3 minutes, okay, so that we can all get out of here at a reasonable time, all right? And our first two speakers is a duo, okay? Let's hear it for Kayla and Vanessa.
Hi, guys. So I just want to start by saying this is a class like one I've never been in at Brooklyn College because of all of you and, of course, Professor Leibowitz. As we shared our ideas, everyone was so respectful of one another, which I thought was amazing, and I've really made some great friends within all of you. And Professor Leibowitz, you always put all your time into the class, and we're always available for us if we wanted to email you or contact you, which is very unique for a professor, so I thank you for that. I think the most important thing that I learned is that when I first started in this class, I was signed to a modeling agency, and I was very excited to learn how to brand myself. And in that agency, or in that industry, it's a lot about yourself, and everyone's a competitor, and you have to stay ahead of everyone. And Professor Leibowitz taught us that in entrepreneurship, it's not just about you. It's about having a great team, and you said that the most important people you can have is a good accountant and a good lawyer, so I'll always remember that. But it's about having a team and having people around you that are going to help you better yourself and your business, and without that lesson, I would not be where I am today with Bronze Box, which is my product, our product that Vanessa and I have collaborated on. So thank you for that lesson.
Okay, Vanessa.
Okay, so I don't know how I'm going to follow up on that speech because I'm definitely not signed to Wilhelmina like Kayla is. But I still have a lot of ideas that I'm currently working on. If anybody knows, I was one of the first presentations for this class, and I was definitely nervous behind the computer. I can't hide anywhere here. You guys were so nice to me. I learned a lot from each of you. I definitely see a lot of potential in a lot of you guys. I see the great ideas, and you guys inspire me. Like, I'll be sitting down listening to one of your ideas, and I'll be like, wow, like, that's a great idea. Like, that's gonna go somewhere. And I want to thank Professor Leibowitz so much because you definitely gave me that confidence that just keep working hard in what I'm doing, and I can definitely go big places. And with Kayla, we have a little collab idea, and I'm super excited for that.
So our idea is Bronze Box. It's a beauty box, a beauty subscription box for ethnic women. And I presented the idea mid-semester, and Vanessa immediately came up to me and she was like, I think that with you, we can take this product to a different place. So Vanessa's idea was to add fashion and jewelry into the Bronze Box. So we think that you should invest in us, Professor Leibowitz, because we have done some surveys, where we got 50 people to tell us what they want and if they would subscribe to our box, and 95% of people said that they would, and we really know what we want the box to be, and we think you should invest in us.
Thank you, Kayla.
All right. Thank you, and best of luck. Okay, use that money wisely there. Okay, next we're going to hear from Justin. All right, Justin.
Okay, so I am horrible at public speaking because I get nervous easily. But first, I definitely got to say, Professor Leibowitz, thank you so much for this program. This was truly an experience that I don't think any of us will ever forget anytime soon. You do know you have a great class when people are showing up to your door a half hour before class even starts. But coming here, I've learned so much. I think the two biggest things I've learned is that business is not as hard as what people make it seem. At least it's not as hard to want to start a business. All it takes is a lot of persistence, a lot of planning, and a lot of diligence and a lot of work. But the biggest thing I've learned is, at least about myself, is I love the challenge of getting down, getting dirty, working. Like you said before, 7 of us got together and did the business plan competition, and all 7 of us can tell you, the best part of that experience was those Wednesday afternoons and those Friday mornings that we were in the library, in a study room, just working on it. What can we do to make it better? What kind of questions can we expect? All of that stuff. And I took that experience, I took that hard work, and I applied it into the business that I am still going to work on. For those of you who don't know, I came up with a business last year called Geek Lounge, which is a interactive place where gamers and lovers of everything that is geek culture could come, interact with one another, have friendly competitions, and all of that stuff. And Professor Leibowitz, one of the main things you taught me about that industry is that when it comes to video games, people love competition, but more importantly, people love competing for money. So I hit a wall at one point, and I didn't know where could I go with this business because I had spoken to an accountant, I seen like all the numbers, and it was gonna get really expensive here in New York. But luckily for me, I saw a competition on YouTube for Madden 17, and you see 60,000 people watching this online, seeing people compete for $100,000, and now I'm planning to take this business idea and move it more onto online competitions. So that's what I'll be doing from this point forward. That's everything.
Okay, next we're going to hear from Matthew Zallen. Let's hear from Matt.
So the Leibowitz Entrepreneur Program has provided me with countless invaluable opportunities and experiences over the last 4 months. These experiences have certainly not been limited to the classroom, which I'm really appreciative of. We were not only introduced to several professionals who spoke with us about their experience, given firsthand knowledge about how to start and grow a business, given a chance for fellow students to critique and be a part of our own business, but we were also pushed out into the real world to go make our ideas a reality. Had I not been in this program, I would not have met angel investor David S. Rose at the business planning competition, the Green Grape and Shopkeep founder Amy Bennett, and my future employer Michael Geller, and many more who have shared their insight and provided me with tremendous support. All this aside, one of the biggest benefits of this program was meeting everybody here and being given a chance to become friends with and potential partners with, because out of a crowd as big as Brooklyn College's student base, it's really hard to find these people, and Professor Leibowitz has done it for us, so I'm extremely fortunate for that. Working with Jalal Saf, Maria, Justin, Viola, and Eric to create a business plan, and a competitive one at that in a matter of weeks, was a wake-up call. The amount of work that we had to put in was incredible. But we each took charge in the specific areas that we knew best. Viola is an amazing designer. Saf is the greatest salesperson that I know. Justin came in clutch with his insane amount of connections and got our message seen by hundreds of CUNY students at a moment's notice. Maria with the market research surveys. And Jalal and Eric with their market and financial research really tailored a business and product towards the right people. And of course, me being the water boy, keeping everybody hydrated throughout the entire ordeal. But no, it also allowed me to discover my own skill in finding problems and creating solutions. In the end, even though we didn't take home an investment, the experience and connections that we made in the business planning competition severely changed the way I look at being an entrepreneur. Professor Leibowitz provided us with open access to some of his valuable connections, as well, bringing in guest speakers to share firsthand knowledge and internal insight into the entertainment and photography industries, as well as many others. Most importantly for me, it's because of Professor that I've been given an opportunity for a tremendous learning experience, not only in an industry that I am really interested in, but with a person that I feel I have a lot in common with. All of you probably know already, I have an internship this summer with Michael Geller with his organic food delivery business that he started from nothing. And I'm really, really excited to learn from him about the industry and how he started it, and what it's like to be a boss, and a good one from what I see so far. Anyway, I definitely see Professor Leibowitz and I doing business together in the future. I'm doing everything I can to immerse myself in the industries that I'm interested in, to learn them from the inside out. And by the time I'm ready to go all in, there'll be no doubt a level of commitment, knowledge on the market and industry, and my ability to run the company successfully. I owe all of this really to Professor Leibowitz, as without this program and his persistent urging to go out there and do it, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. And the least I could do is make both of us some money in the process. So I thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you.
So it's great when we bring the speakers in, and then the next day the students actually email and approach the guest speaker about an opportunity. And in this case, Michael Geller, who was our first speaker and started an organic farm that makes deliveries in Greenwich, Connecticut, and is doing astounding business, now to open up a retail store. I'd be surprised if we didn't see Matt Zalin and Michael Geller partners someday in a host of different farms and retail businesses. I think their personalities mesh really well, so good job. Okay, next we're going to hear from Viola Lee. All right, Viola. So very quick Viola Lee story, okay? Because we email. I know that by the class is over on Wednesday, Viola's homework is always first. And I'm sure every professor goes through this. There's always one student, the homework is always first. And I kind of gauge, like, how do you have the time to do all of this? Okay, but Viola came into the program with this idea of doing a nonprofit dog and cat adoption type of business. And by the time the 14 weeks was over, Viola may have a partner soon in the business of renting with an option to buy a dog or a cat for the weekend. Okay, and when we started seeing this and doing a little bit more investigation, I started to get a lot more excited. Well, it went from like being a pet adoption thing. I never had a dog in my life, and I'm allergic to cats. So I'm like, gee, it doesn't sound like for me, but let's see if Viola's business opportunity. And then I started to do a little research, and that type of business is just about ready to start. So if anybody wants to do it, everybody would love to rent the dog. Let's see how the personality of the owner. If not, they bring it back to the store. And I'll bet you a lot of people get hooked to that dog and end up buying it at the end of the weekend. But thanks for that one. That was very exciting.
Hi. It was a pleasure to be a part of Professor Leibowitz's Entrepreneur Program. This semester, Professor Leibowitz taught us a lot. He taught us about testing our business ideas, financing our business, marketing and branding, and building our team. Throughout this experience, I was also able to learn a lot about myself, like my strengths and weaknesses. Professor Leibowitz was always willing to give suggestions for my nonprofit business plan. I want to say thank you, Professor Leibowitz, for this amazing semester. In addition, this experience allowed me to meet so many amazing students. All of you had such incredible ideas. I believe that you guys will be able to accomplish them in no time. Okay, so why should you invest in my business? First off, my business idea is to help change the culture of animal shelters. I believe shelter animals need just as much love as animals from pet stores. I want to create an animal shelter where animals can feel safe and happy. I also want families and friends to be able to come and hang out with these animals. We may even promote the idea of renting out shelter animals. Investing in my animal shelter is not like investing in a regular business because it's also investing in your community. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. I'm sure we're going to see more from Viola in the animal business. So you saw it here first, the rental of the dog business. All right, next we're going to hear from the dynamic duo, Dime and Slav are coming up here. Let's hear it for these guys.
Hi, so my name is Dimi Atanisov, and the one thing you're all going to hear today is pretty much how Professor Leibowitz taught us pretty much how to start a business from the ground up, how to find investors, pretty much the whole mystery that we kind of were unsure about and like didn't know what to do. And from my experience, I personally learned a lot from Ted. He kind of guided us. Out of all the classes I've taken in Brooklyn College, there's only like 3 or 4 that I can say have made a huge impact on my life, and this is definitely number one. Throughout the entire semester, Ted has kind of been teaching us, giving us confidence. One personal story that I found really inspiring was about his son, actually, and how he got into copyright law, which I was kind of interested in that because I wanted to be a corporate lawyer. And the fact that like he kind of found his own niche kind of said that you can really find your niche in almost any type of business. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Slav, and then we'll go into our business idea.
Slav?
I just want to make myself clear that this was not a class for me. For me, it was a room with very animated and innovative individuals that decided to become entrepreneurs in which they were guided by a professional or mentor, Ted Leibowitz. It's hard to call Ted a professor since he motivates the student the way that no other professor does. I knew I had to be a part of this class because I had some experience in the business world when I started my own business a very long time ago. So I came to this class with some sort of experience, but I was also very naive. But that was rapidly molded into persistence, dedication, and realization. That was due to the successful teaching methods of Ted, in which he spoke about his own past experiences, and the guest speakers that we had that talked about their own success. The main thing I got out of this class is that it taught me how to turn an abstract idea into a concrete project. However, I've also learned that dedication and perseverance are only a small feature of an entrepreneur. The main characteristic is that an entrepreneur is willing to take the risk to evolve and become something greater. Now, I'm going to present our idea for the oxygen cocktail. The oxygen cocktail is something that you guys have never heard of or probably ever seen. It was originated from the Baikal Lake of Russia, where the natives oxygenated the drinks with pure oxygen in order to add the healthy benefits to it. So what an oxygen cocktail really is any drink, juice, tea, or milk that has been oxygenated with 93% of oxygen by an oxygen generator. Due to this oxygenation, the drink serves many, many health benefits due to the lack of oxygen that we now respirate. Because since the beginning, our lungs used to respirate oxygen way more differently, but due to pollution, industrial waste, smog, and water pollution, everything that affects our environment has reduced our ability to absorb oxygen. And thus comes the idea for the oxygen cocktail.
So the oxygen cocktail is actually very easy to produce once you acquire the machine to pretty much oxygenate a cocktail. And it can be made from any type of base drink, from any type of juice to coffee or milk can be oxygenated. So the health benefits are actually quite extreme that I think the drink could personally sell itself. More oxygen in the body means it fights aging, it boosts your immune system, it boosts your metabolism. It should be mandatory pretty much for anyone that's overweight or a smoker who already have lack of oxygen in their body. Just the marketing factors on this are pretty much insane, and I think it can honestly become the next bubble tea. What we plan to do is to take our scholarships, and hopefully if Ted is willing to invest in us, and purchase an O2 machine. Then after that, we'll conduct research throughout Brooklyn College because this is honestly really easy to do, and there's no point in spending money outside. After that, we're thinking about renting a stand at a farmer's market or a food festival just to see how much money this thing can generate. And we honestly see this as growing into the next Kung Fu Tea, where we could have many chains open across the city, even across the nation. Just small stores selling a lot of drinks, not taking much cost to operate. It's very low risk. And if this could even be bottled, it could honestly be the next Gatorade, the next health drink, the next health craze. And thank you.
Thanks a lot. I wouldn't want to bet against these two guys. I could tell you that. There you go. So it's very rare that we have two presenters up here at the same time. This class we had two sets of people that decided they wanted to be partners with each other, which is spectacular. And the idea of the oxygen, why not? I mean, I have a neighbor in Long Island, you know, that did phenomenal things in the beverage industry. I think that something like oxygen. How many of you think you'd like to taste an oxygen drink? There you go. That's validation in and of itself. How many of you would like to invest your scholarship checks with these guys? Okay. Joe says 25%. Okay. Next, we're going to hear from Aram. Let's hear it for Aram. Again, Aram, we want to thank you for your service to this country. Okay. We try to try to have as many veterans as we can in this program.
Okay, hi, my name is Iram Sikandar. I actually, as you said, I'm a military veteran. I was on active duty for 6 years. I got married and had a son. The problem started when I had my first son. I couldn't manage between work and being a mother and being a housewife, and so I decided to come back to school so I can, you know, just raise him and give him fully all my attention. So now I'm enrolled in school, and he's also enrolled in the daycare on campus, which is great. It has really helped me. So I was in a marketing class, and that's where I met Professor Ted. And this is my first time, like, ever thinking about business, ever like even looking at anything close to business. So when I saw him in class, like, you know, he opened this door where, like, you know, I wanted to go in because I never had any experience. And I'm like, maybe I should try getting into this class, and if I'm lucky, like, you know, I'll get in. So there I was. I met him. I went on the website. I applied, and I got selected. From there, that's where my business life started. I learned a lot. The most important thing that I learned was business is not that difficult, like, compared to what I thought it was. Now, with his help, like, I have the books and places and experience that I can use to run a business if I wanted to. And that helped me come up with an idea. My business is called 24/7 Childcare. So people with children, like, you know, if you have to run somewhere at like 10 o'clock at night, what are you supposed to do with your child if you're just a mother and you don't have anyone else that can look after your child? So what my business will do is it would actually have little daycare centers all around, like, you know, the city where people can drop off their children. And so what you're doing is you're helping people, but you're making money at the same time. So this is a very, very good experience, but I feel like only people with children would know that. So I saw that a lot of my class fellows, they don't have children, so I don't think it's a very appealing idea to them, but people with children, like, you know, it's very appealing to them. To me, it is. Like, you know, if there's a place where, like, you know, and the best part about that place was, like, you know, I was going to try to live stream. Like, you can be anywhere, and you can go on your phone, and you can check what your child is doing. So that's the big difference. I know there's a lot of daycares out there, but the big thing that was going to make the difference for me was where I can live stream and see my child, what he's doing at any minute. So when you're on camera, you know, absolutely, you want to give them the best service. And in regards to this class, like, again, like, they gave me a positive response. I was open. I was really, really excited to hear all these new ideas. And I just wanted to thank you again, Professor. If without your opportunity, I would have not learned and never, like, this door maybe never would have opened for me. Thank you so much.
How many of you would like to invest in that 24-hour business again? I'm actually shocked that it's not been done before. I mean, there's a lot of people that work nights, nurses and waitresses and people in other industries, hospitality, that have kids. And yeah, if you don't have a babysitter and you know that there was a certified, verified, licensed place to drop your kid off that you can tune in on your app and see your kid, I see that as being a huge business opportunity with great franchise potential. All right, next we're going to hear from Joe Maxey. Let's hear for Joe.
First, I want to thank the Libowitz program for helping me gain the confidence to select this business management as my major. At first, I was in a business course, not fully confident thinking about joining the business world until Ted Libowitz came in and announced this program to me. So it got my interest. So I wrote the passage and essay, and I thought I wouldn't make it. To my shock, I actually made it through my hard work. During my lessons, I made a lot of friends, gained more confidence than I ever believed I would. And it gave the birth to my concept of the right-hand man when Ted Libowitz told me to keep a journal with me and write down any problems I see for a possible business. So for my app, The Right-Hand Man is an app/service that provide gifts for every holiday event for you so you don't have to remember to go out and get the gifts. So this will be a paid monthly subscription service providing any possible solution for you. I followed the major business goals, which were to make a never-ending business, make a business that could team up with any company, which is the right-hand man, and, sorry, I'm just very nervous. And to help provide to the community, in which I believe the right-hand man do that because it's a never-ending business because instead of holidays ending, you just keep adding. The business could technically team up with anybody, like my other classmates. So if possible, when the business come up, at least I know I have connections with them. And is provided with the community because it helps you not get in trouble with your wife or your spouse. So I would like to thank Ted Libowitz for the chance and the opportunity for learning this.
Thanks very much, Joe. Joe turned to be a hell of a sales guy out there, I have to tell you. After the first week, and he showed up with donuts and Twinkies and cupcakes, and it was like he was going to take over the street. No one was getting by Joe Maxey that day. Okay, and so we applaud you, Joe. Great job. Job well done. All right, next we're going to hear from Jajal.
So my name is Jalal Hassan, and I would like to start off with a quote by somebody I admire a lot. Jay-Z once said, "I'm hungry for knowledge. The whole thing is to learn every day, to get brighter and brighter." That's what this world is about. You look at someone like Gandhi, and he glowed. Martin Luther King glowed. Muhammad Ali glows. I think that's from being bright all the time and trying to be brighter. So I think I really connect with this quote because I'm constantly looking for knowledge. And this being my first year of college, I really wanted to look for classes that inspired me and taught me a lot of what I needed to know. So one day when I was in my business management class, Professor Ted Libowitz came into my class and he told me his story, and I was instantly blown away. The reason I was instantly blown away was because He told me that he first started out in a flea market, and that's my current form of income. I started when I was about 10 or 12 years old, and that's what I currently do. So I felt a connection with Professor Ted Leibowitz, and I usually never feel connections with any of my teachers or professors because I feel like I'm just being taught and lectured. But when I first started the class with Professor Leibowitz, it was completely different because it was a different type of learning experience. It felt like the whole class was learning in unison, and that I was not only learning from my professor, but also from my teammates. I would like to thank my business group that I was lucky enough to be a part of. So basically throughout the whole class, we had many guest speakers, and I enjoyed that a lot because it was different. We never usually got guest speakers in other classes, and I got to hear other stories which were really inspiring. All the guest speakers also taught me new ways to continue growing my business. I stole one of the guest speakers' ideas and started charging people for commissions on connecting them with others. And that brings me to my business idea, which is basically starting a large wholesale company. And what I basically want to do is open wholesale to the public. I don't want it so that only certain store owners or certain people with tax IDs can be able to buy in wholesale or bulk, but I want to open it up to everybody. I want to start helping small businesses, and I just want to expand the market. I want to buy as much as possible, sell as much as possible, and help as many people as possible. So that's why I think you should invest in me, because the wholesale market is constantly growing. It's never going to stop, and people are always looking for inventory. Thank you.
Thank you. Just by a show of hands, how many freshmen and sophomore are in this program? Wow, this whole table. Okay. So to be a freshman and 18 years old and accomplish, you know, what Jalal has done by 10, 12 years old is it's pretty astonishing. I mean, I wouldn't also want to bet against him by the time he graduates where he's going to be. And as you know, we love the wholesale business. We've talked about it so many times. You know, it's certainly a lot better than retail. And the fact that Halal can figure out how to deal with a wholesale and still be in school and do all of this and make money at the same time is pretty miraculous. All right, next we're going to hear from Flavio. All right.
So now that Joel just went by, I was smiling because I'm gonna start off my presentation with a quote as well. But this quote is more for the class and the professor. Harvey Mackay once said, "None of us got to where we are alone. Whether the assistance we received was obvious or subtle, acknowledging someone's help is a big part of understanding the importance of saying thank you." And with that being said, thank you, the class, for making it such a great experience. Because every time I would walk by, you guys would always say hi. There's always a smile on your face. And just you have amazing ideas. And Professor Leibowitz for making this happen and allowing me to meet you guys and meet yourself, a successful businessman. Okay. And what I got from this class was I got an opportunity to meet people with similar goals and aspirations, which I do feel made me a better person. I also learned where to find my resources, where to start, and how to build my business, how to continue my success, and how to make connections with amazing individuals. And I would also like to, besides saying thank you, would like to say how much I appreciate you guys as peers and your friendship. Okay, Professor, why I think you should invest in me. First off, my business is called Comb and Through. If you say it fast, it's coming through. And I've repeated this motto plenty of times, but one last time for today. If you want it, we got it. Don't got it? There you go. Why I think this is my idea is basically a male grooming slash facial treatment, which is basically women get to experience a spa, and men also, but they feel like they're being dragged there. But I feel like coming through, would be a place that men would want to go. So whether it's to get a shape up, a cool haircut, like mine, a good haircut, and a place to like clean your face while it's whitehead removal or blackhead removal, or basically all that. Why I think this would be a great place to start a business is because this is New York City, where dreams can happen. So I feel like, plus it's a busy place where like you could aim for anything and it'll still catch something. Why I feel like nowadays you're paying for an experience, while the thing you're selling could help out, but most people nowadays are paying for an experience. For example, bubble tea. Bubble tea is simple. You can make it at home yourself if you have the right resources. But if you put a pretty sign and like pretty advertisements, people would come running. This is also a helpful necessity, which also promotes good hygiene, and women like men with good hygiene. Combing through. Helpful necessity and good hygiene. And this will also give good guidance and self-esteem, which I feel no one can have too much of that. Okay, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Flavio. Yeah, so his little chant, was like in my head for like the last like 2 or 3 weeks. I can't get it out of my head, and I always mess it up when I try to say it. But now that we have it on here, for posterity, it'll be here forever. All right, but just keep hustling like that. All right, the hustling and the chatting, the talking it up, what you experienced that day, is what it takes in business to draw people, to get them excited about your product. Okay, so just keep on doing what you're doing, and you're going to be very, very successful. All right, we're going to hear from Cody Mangano next. Cody.
I'd like to start by thanking Professor Leibowitz, obviously, as everyone else did. I want to talk about why I thought the program was so beneficial for me. I'm part of the accounting program, and I just kind of assumed once I graduated I would do accounting. But I don't really like it that much, to be honest. And this program, I feel like, opened up new doors for me, because I realized you don't need to be the most knowledgeable person in the field. You just need a passion for it, and you need just to be willing to take the knowledge from people who have it. Like, for example, you said you were dying to go into the beverage industry, and you don't seem like a beverage guy, but you always said you were willing to take the knowledge from people and move forward in that industry. So I think maybe I don't have to do accounting. I could find something that would be my niche, and as long as I'm willing to work at it, which is what my business idea is. It's called Bright Page Media. It's a marketing and advertising firm for small businesses who really aren't digitally aware yet, because a lot of these small businesses are owned by people in their 50s, 60s who aren't really into like Twitter and Instagram and advertising. So my goal is to bring them forward with that and to push their businesses into the forefront so that they could be available online.
Thank you, pal. Thanks. Good luck. Okay, so this next young fella, a day doesn't go by that we don't get an email to talk about our stock picks of the day. So, Eric, come on up and let's hear you. And yes, Amazon is still my top stock pick. Okay.
First off, I'd like to thanking Ted. Ted for this opportunity and for making the program and giving us the opportunity to participate in it and learn every single day. I would like to say I wish there were more people Ted in this world. I feel like, you know, I come from a rough neighborhood, and there's nobody out there to really help others. And if there was more people like you around, I feel like that would really help out the world a lot. I've been at Brooklyn College for the past 5 years, and this is definitely the best course I've ever taken. It was something unlike anything that is offered in our curriculum. I feel every student in the school deserves a chance to take this class and learn what entrepreneurship really is about. I feel like a lot of classes, I'm sorry to say this, but I feel like a lot of classes don't really teach you what you need, and this class really does get down to that point. Feel this course is very resourceful for anyone who would eventually want to get into business for themselves one day, such as myself. And I came into this class thinking I knew a substantial amount about how to build a business and what it actually took to build a business, but I really had no idea. Also having the opportunity to participate in the business plan competition with my fellow students was an amazing experience, and thank you guys for that opportunity. If I can take out one specific thing about this course, was that for sure. Besides all that stuff, the experience in the class itself every single day was amazing. Being able to listen to other entrepreneurs talk about their life and their journeys and how they were able to make it, that was definitely mind-blowing. And I hope one day I can work with other classmates of mine on business ideas, and I think that would definitely happen. Something else that this class gave me was just the confidence in business itself, and that, you know, it is possible and that anyone could really make it as long as you work hard and you stay committed to what you really want. I think that it had allowed us to grow. Me personally, it definitely gave me the confidence. And the shopping trip itself was so eye-opening. I don't know if anybody else thought like that, but the shopping trip was definitely my favorite day. I'm an entrepreneur, so my mind was blown that day. I was just thinking of all the different ways we can make money, and it was an awesome class, and I would just like to say thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
It's a little like sleepaway camp. At the end of the summer, the counselor gets all teared up, especially, you know, when you start working so closely as we've had as a group, you know. But anybody needs stock tips, there's your man back there. Okay, next we're going to hear from J.C. Diaz. All right, J.C.
Hello, everyone. My name is J.C., J for short. First of all, I don't think we can say it enough as a class, but I just want to say thank you to everyone in this class, and thank you to Professor Leibowitz for just this amazing opportunity. Throughout the course, obviously, we learned a lot. We had people from the business world come in, tell us their story, how they got started, their biggest takeaway. But I feel like the biggest lesson I've learned in this class began even before I got into the class. I was always a quiet guy. I try to cut down on as least amount of human interaction as possible. So I never really felt that I had anything to offer to anyone, especially in a high caliber class as this business class. When I heard this class was taking applications, I didn't even bother to send an application in. And then just one day, the day before the applications were due, one of my classes got canceled, and all I had that day was my notebook and my laptop. So I just decided, why not? And then I got accepted. And the biggest takeaway I had from that is just confidence, knowing what, never underestimating what you can offer to a table, never underestimating your worth, especially. One of my business idea that I've been working on a year prior to this business class, my brother and I started it just as a fun idea because I always loved dressing up. I like following clothing trends, but at the same time, I like wearing my own stuff. I wanted to create a photo app such as Instagram that highlighted clothing in a way that they have not. But after the lesson I learned in this class, that all changed. I wanted to highlight something that we're being torn away from people constantly torn away from people that didn't view self-acceptance and difference as something beautiful. People with a different body type, people that didn't look like everyone else were constantly being torn away, being told that they weren't up to standards, they weren't beautiful for everyone else. So I wanted to highlight that because I feel like the biggest thing in life that everyone should have, but unfortunately they don't, is self-acceptance and just confidence. And that's why I feel like my business should be invested in, because especially when it comes down to the point that people are taking their own lives, not wanting to go outside just because being constantly torn apart for not looking like everyone else. It doesn't just become my business, but I feel like it should become everyone else's business. Thank you.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that during this semester, the acceptance and how at the end of the day, we're all alike. We're all the same, you know? Kind of reminds me of when you go out with the girl for the first time, or the first week, the first month. And then eventually it settles in that, hey, you know, there's more to it than just a beautiful face, okay? And over a period of time, you say the same thing with your business partners, okay? What may be a sharp, hip, cool dude doing the latest, greatest thing this year, maybe a year down the line, they're not going to be that motivated, you know? And as Jay said, you know, Facebook, or as I like to call it, fake book, you know, is really curated to make a lot of people feel bad, okay? And clearly, between the fake news and all the other things that you see about the social media, I think that Jay's idea of having an acceptance and a wide open acceptance to things is really the only way to go. Because we see what happens when one person wants to just control or rule the world. That doesn't work. All right, next we're going to hear from Chris Velasquez.
How's everyone doing? Sorry, I'm a little bit nasally. It's allergy season. You know, it always messes me up. So first of all, I'd like to thank Ted for his positive attitude every single day. He was so contagious, as you can as well see. Everyone's always smiling all the time. Then I'd like to thank all of you guys. Now, when I came to this class, I didn't really have an idea of what business I would like to start. All I knew is that I kind of wanted to learn more about the entrepreneurial process and hopefully become a little bit smarter leaving than when I entered. And now, I'm not a big talker, as you guys probably well know. I'm always in the back, kind of just sitting there, but I'm an excellent listener. As I was saying, I listened to all your side conversations, and you guys inspired me. You guys helped me to become something more. You taught me the value in networking and the value of planning, the value of how important feedback can really be to an idea. And for that, I thank every single one of you guys. You guys are amazing. Now, why should you invest in my business? My business, it was a professional scavenger hunt service, which would integrate apps focused mostly on corporate entities, schools, and historical societies. An investment in my business would be an investment in fun. It would be an investment in learning about the world around us, as well as learning it in a way that would hopefully make you smile once or twice. But more importantly, it would be an investment in me, and which begs the question, who am I? Well, I'm a soft-spoken, Brooklyn-born, ambitious writer who happens to love games. And as a writer, I often doodled and imagined stories in my head, most of the time during class, which most of the time growing up, it got me the nickname, I was a daydreamer. I would always be daydreaming in class, kind of doing my own thing, which often followed a negative connotation. But there's more to it than that. I think every single person here is a daydreamer. And before I go, I'm going to read one quote that I think applies to everyone by T.E. Lawrence. I'll be paraphrasing a little bit, but it's all people dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake in the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous, for they may act on their dream with open eyes and make it possible. So as Aerosmith would say, dream on, guys. Dream on.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you very much. So, it was a very tough year this year, maybe my hardest year in 10 years, choosing our Entrepreneur of the Year. But I think that we can all agree that a much well-deserved standing ovation to our man Saif as the Entrepreneur of the Year.
So that's the first award I've ever won in my life. No, so first off, I just want to thank Ted. I mean, I completely agree with what Eric says. There needs to be more people in this world like you. People who have done great things and are willing to give back to the community, to give back to us. I mean, all of us are college students. All of us are trying to figure out our lane, are trying to figure out what we need to do. And the guidance that you provided us is invaluable, so I want to sincerely thank you in front of everybody. Secondly, I want to thank Team Bukista, because I didn't bring you guys up for Q&A time during the pitch. I didn't forget about that. But seriously, guys, you guys did a rock star job. It was awesome. It was an amazing learning experience. So I want to start off by saying that not many times in life do you get opportunities. You know, a lot of people feel like opportunities are abundant. I actually think it's the other way around. I think that once in a while something comes up to you and it's on you to take action and kind of take hold for what happened. And I think we all did that by taking this class. Professor Leibowitz gave us an opportunity to learn about entrepreneurship, to learn about business in a way that we probably will never be able to learn outside of here. And I think all of us did an amazing job of really taking hold of that and taking that opportunity and making it ours. And the experiences that we gained from this class, from first and foremost the guest speakers, from learning from actual practitioners and not just theorists, is something that cannot be replaced. I mean, I try to find mentors and go out and look for people who have done great things, and it's so difficult. And there's one that's basically landed right in front of your doorstep. Secondly, the experience of actually selling and going out and purchasing product. I mean, I'm a salesman by trade. I've been a salesman since I was 14 years old. But even then, kind of getting my own product and selling my own stuff was a whole new experience for me, and it was extremely valuable. And lastly, I want to say that all of you guys, the amount of growth that I've seen from day one to now is unbelievable. I think all of us have grown as people, as business people, as friends, and I feel like some of you guys are almost like my family. And I just want to thank all you guys for bringing your A game. I'm going to be really sad that there's no class next Wednesday. I mean, I am graduating, so that's awesome, and I'm glad for that. But I really enjoyed my time with you guys, and I really enjoyed my time with Professor Leibowitz.
Well done. Well deserved. Okay, so another year has gone by. The class of 2017, you are officially graduated. Congratulations. And I'll just leave you with my favorite line, which goes like this. You can take the boy out of Brooklyn, but you can't take the Brooklyn out of the boy. Good luck to everybody, and stay in touch, all right? Yeah. And I'd like to just say a couple of things. Andrew Sillen, the vice president, would like to come up before and say a few words. Let's hear it for Andy.
Thank you, Ted. I just wanted to say three things, something about you, something about the moment, something about Ted. You know, I'm, as Ted said, a vice president, I'm a busy guy. I came here thinking I might spend about 10 minutes, 15 minutes and quickly bail out. But I have to tell you, I was glued to my seat. I am just so impressed with all of you and what you have achieved and what you're doing. And one of the things that particularly impressed me about what I heard here is that each of you seems to have developed a product or an idea which is true to who you are and your own life experiences. And what you have brought individually to these ideas is just phenomenal, and that is really what's going to make it a success if you can capitalize on it. Apart from what you've learned, it's your own life experience that you're bringing to this, which really is what making it so exciting. I want to say something about the moment. Believe it or not, I went to Brooklyn College. I graduated in 1974, and I had a similar kind of moment that you're having when I took a course in my senior year, and it was anthropological theory. Okay, a long way from business, but that was such a phenomenal course, and I developed such a rapport with the students and the teachers in that course that it set my life trajectory for the next 40 years. I became an anthropologist and a head of a department at a university, and I had a very satisfying career, and I could trace it all back to one course. So you are at a moment in your lives where you have all identified a very special course, and if you take this seriously and if you think about it deeply, this may really change the whole trajectory of your lives. And that is something that you need to reflect on and I think to treasure and stay in touch with each other. It's very important. Final thing I want to say is about TED. So I deal with a lot of guys and women who give money to the university and support students. And there are folks who are happy to write checks, and there are folks who are prepared to feel like their responsibilities end when they do that. TED is something very different. TED is somebody who not only writes checks, but who is personally, deeply invested in how he's spending his money and in your lives and in the lives of the students that have come through this program in the last dozen years. And so thank you, TED, for all that you do and the intensity of your engagement with our students. It's very, very special, and we're very deeply appreciative. So why don't we all stand up and thank TED.